it's not a requirement, for me at least, for it to be communicated that you're multi dating. I think at this point in 2022, of understanding what dating culture is like, and just operate under the assumption that that is exactly what you're doing unless communicated otherwise. I don't need you to put that out there. It happens so regularly that that's just kind of the default mode right now. However, it does show your character if you're able to communicate that in a way where it's coming out of transparency, or if it's coming out of a, okay, well, now you're in competition with X amount of people. Like, how you communicate, if you choose to communicate that you're dating, starts to reveal a little bit about who you are. But for me, it's not, you don't have to say it, but how you say it and what you say is telling about who you are, good or bad.
Are multi-daters marriage material, ladies? And when I say multi-daters, I do mean people who date more than one person at a time. We can start off with Miss Taken.
Okay. I would say yes, but it depends on how you move. I think if you're in the early stages of like just meeting somebody, then I think you need to be honest about the fact that, right now, we're trying to get to know each other, and, I'm single, I'm out, I'm meeting other people, things like that. So I do think it's okay, but I don't necessarily think that you should have like a harem of dudes that you're just cycling through. So if it's like, maybe you've found two guys that you're that you're interested in, and you're dating to try to get to see, there's an attraction there for both, but you're trying to get to know each one to determine which one you may be more compatible with. And then once you narrow that down, then I do think you can go ahead and give your focus to that one person if he's made it clear that that both of you guys are on the same page about wanting to date with intention. And then I think that that's fine.
Okay, so it's safe to say that as long as you have that conversation with the person and let them know up front, this is what I'm doing, that's cool.
Right, exactly. Because if
Okay.
you're dating with intention, you want to be clear that my purpose in dating is, with intention. I'm looking for a monogamous relationship, but right now I'm getting to know people to see who I'm compatible with. And I
Okay.
think that's fine.
All
Some
right.
dudes want you to be exclusive straight up and you don't even know them. So no. Mm-mm.
Shan, if you want to answer now, you can. I know you
What
missed the
was the question?
question.
I did. What's
You-
the
I
question?
was okay, so I was gonna say you can hop in now, or you can wait until the other lady speak, however you want to do it.
Oh, let
But the
me let
question
them
is
speak and then I'll give mine. I'm sorry. I just woke up.
okay.
My brain is kind of
No, you're good. You're good. The question was, are multi-daters relate? I'm sorry, marriage material. So are you able to date multiple people?
okay.
Are they marriage material? Yeah. All
Okay.
right, but go ahead, pretty hustle.
That's a good question. So to piggyback off Miss Taken, I agree. When she mentioned that as long as you all communicate that, like, hey, we're dating, you're both trying to see what's out there, find someone who's compatible with you. What I take is for me, dating is just what it is. Dating. Until you draw the line and say, hey, we're just gonna be committed to each other. And like she said, dating with intention, I feel like you are free to date and get to know other people. See, I feel like that's where people mess up a lot. As soon as they meet someone, they try to tie themselves down quick without knowing what that other person wants to do. So that's where you get that situation where one person wants to be in a committed relationship, another person like, hey, you're moving too fast because you came in without the communication. Since we're talking your mind, but if you were dating, which is what it's called, you understand that you can get to know people. That doesn't mean you have to sleep with them, but you can go on dates. They can court you. Y'all can go on lunch, go to do different things together because that's all a part of the process of getting to know a person. Trial and error, just hey, that way you could get to kind of see what one person, how you feel about when you're doing things with them. You might say, I'm not feeling them. And then you got this other person where it's like, everything I like, they're checking off on. So then you can make that decision like, okay, I'm really feeling you. And then make sure that they feel the same about you as well. But it's kind of like when you put all your eggs in one basket, that's when you find yourself fumbling, because you put yourself all in and they're not doing the same. So I feel like clear communication is what's needed in dating. So long as you communicate that with the person, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Stop it.
Could I add one more thing to that? Because I know a lot of times guys get it twisted and think that dating automatically equates to sex. So those are two different things.
That part.
Yes, I'm so glad you clarified that.
To know you doesn't mean getting to know how you are in the bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting to know you as a person. Sex isn't even on the table at this point when we're talking about getting to know somebody to see if we are compatible enough to be exclusive. But guys hear the word date and that automatically equates to sex. And for women it's not that. Maybe for them it is, but for women it's not.
I wholeheartedly agree with that part, that dating does not equate to sex at all. But I might be the odd one out on this. It's not a requirement for me, at least, for it to be communicated that you're multi-dating. I think at this point in 2022, of understanding what dating culture is like, I just operate under the assumption that that is exactly what you're doing unless communicated otherwise. I don't need you to put that out there. It happens so regularly that that's just kind of the default mode right now. However, it does show your character if you're able to communicate that in a way where it's coming out of transparency, or if it's coming out of okay, well, now you're in competition with X amount of people. Like, how you communicate, if you choose to communicate that you're dating, starts to reveal a little bit about who you are. But for me, it's not, you don't have to say it, but how you say it and what you say is telling about who you are, good or bad.
All right, Shan, you want to weigh in on that?
Sure. As I okay, so a lot of what I've heard thus far is correct, and I want to emphasize that when you're so what has happened is a few people have started dating, and dating has become about sexual activity in opposed to true dating. So if you're dating with intent and you have communicated on the first day of date or the time that you guys are talking, because that's the time to talk, to say these things, that you are only trying to date with intent. I think that it's okay, like you guys are saying, to I wouldn't say date, but talk to people, get to know people. And that's kind of tricky as well, because you don't want to date too many people. Because I think about when I see a man who's dated so many people and then he dates people that I've known, I'm like, that's a bit much too. But but if you are dating responsibly, like not just being picky with your dates, that's what I'm saying. Not giving everybody your energy, really vetting them out, and not going on a date with everybody you meet, but only people you have selected. Like, this could be, I'm kind of with the guys that says, don't just go on a date for the meal. Some women are going on a date for meals. No. You have to, there's something, a spark there through the telephone conversation, and you're talking to people. Okay, I like this. I could like this guy. Let's go meet for coffee. And then if it keeps, and at some point, if you start liking him, that's also a time to have a conversation. Like, I'm digging you. And again, sex should not even be in a question. I wish women would just close their leg. Oh, Jesus. Because we wouldn't have to keep saying that. But and then you're moving forward. And then I think that that's time to communicate, because communicating early on is just as effective and good for the relationship as communicating later in the relationship. It's like setting up communication early on. And so if you're communicating these things, and he's on the same page, you guys are on the same page, it's a good thing, right? But going back to the original question, should you be a multi-dater if you date responsibly?
Are you okay? Yeah. So is that marriage material?
Listen, if she's dating responsibly, if she's a picky dater, yes. If she's just out here dating people, no. No, absolutely. Because she's not even picky about, what that's just too much. No, 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 no. But if you're a responsible, picky dater, like you're doing it with a purpose, then I think that that's okay.
And I would have to agree with all of you ladies on that, because I remember on another panel I had definitely mentioned something about women should date multiple men. And I think like when people hear that, they automatically put that with sex. And I think that that's how men think. Like they think dating sex. Women are not really, they don't operate like that.
Well, some do.
And
In
some do, some do.
What has happened is you've had a group of women who like this free for all, like I have my rights are just like a man's rights,
True.
and that has opened a can of worms. And now all men think that all women are those women. So we have to specify, we have to be real specific when we say who we're talking about, because there are different types of women, and those are not the women we're talking about.